Hi, everyone. Sherry Donnelly here again. And just wanted to tell you that tonight we're going to be talking about whether or not you're an employer. Now, you would think that if you hire somebody, you'd know that you are an employer. However, it's not as simple as that. There are circumstances where you are utilizing someone's services, and it could be that they're an employee, or it could be that they're working under contract. So I'm going to go to my slides, and I will share my screen, and we'll go over and talk about how you go and determine whether you are an employer or not. Okay, so here we go. According to the Canada Revenue Agency, are you an employer? So there's 6 different sort of areas I'm going to touch on today. Contract of services versus contract for services, employee-employer relationship, intent, can the worker subcontract the work, the degree of financial risk, and a ruling from the CRA. So this is an important sort of concept to think about. Is it a contract of service? And that's an employee-employer relationship. So I am going to work for you, and the contract is for the service that or of the service. So if it's a contract for services, it's a business relationship. So you have a contract that says, I'm going to provide this service for you, then that's a business relationship. Contract of service, that's the employee-employer relationship. Okay, now the next thing that I want to talk to is about is intent. And this is a really important thing when you're trying to determine whether you're an employer or not. And the first thing is, what is the intent of the two parties? Now, if the person doing the hiring intends to hire an employee, that goes a long ways to determine that they are an employee. If it is the intent of the person hiring that they're just contracting services, then it becomes a business relationship. Now, what happens if they don't agree on the intent of the relationship? Then there's some other criteria that we can go to determine what is the relationship. The other thing is, what is the contract state? When you are in a business relationship with someone, there's usually a contract that is signed. And whether it's an employee-employer contract or whether it's a fee-for-service contract, it will state in there it should state in there what the relationship is between the two parties. Okay, subcontracting. And this is sort of an interesting concept. If the worker that you hire is allowed to subcontract the work or hire other workers, then it is a business relationship. For instance, you hire someone to put up drywall in your house. If they are allowed to subcontract that work out to someone else, then it's a business relationship. If you hired them and they're not allowed to subcontract out, then it goes towards being an employer-employee relationship. Okay, another thing is the worker has to supply their own tools. In that case, it's usually a business relationship. So let's say I had a cleaning business and I subcontracted out for someone else to do the cleaning. If they have to supply their own tools for that work, then it's usually a business relationship. If you are supplying all the tools and materials to do that job, then it's more likely to be an employer-employee relationship. Okay, the last thing is, what is the level of control the payer has over the worker? So if they have control over the hours of work, then it's usually an employee-employer relationship. If you're contracting the service and you don't care how they go about doing it, then it's more of a business relationship. You're paying for the end product and not the means of supplying that end product. So it's a complicated situation, and it's not always clear and black and white. So there's all of these different things and rules that you can go to determine whether this is a business relationship or not. I'm going to stop here. There are some other criteria that we're going to go through next week. And, you know, if all else fails, you phone the CRA and get a ruling as to, you explain to them what your circumstances are and you can get a ruling. So we'll continue with whether you're an employer or have an employer-employee relationship next week. So I look forward to having you join me again next week. All right. Good night now.